The mechanism it works is not only via the cholesterol lowering of mechanism. There are other factors that you need for good health besides cholesterol lowering that you don't get when you take the drug. The most effective way to protect yourself against heart disease is to follow a high nutrient style of eating with vegetables at the base, which I call my Eat to Live program. It's a diet style. It's not a diet. It's a style of eating. A diet connotates something that you do just to lose weight, where you have to weigh and measure foods. This isn't about weighing in portions of food and eating less food. It's about eating more of the right foods. I'm on a crusade to get as many people as we can eating a very healthy diet so nobody need to have a heart attack. I mean, I could have written a book to sold millions of books, but this is not a popularity contest. It's not a beauty contest. It's not about making an extra $1 by selling an extra book like the South Beach Diet, where this cardiologist prostituted himself to sell extra books, trying to tell people that they're going to help their heart by eating a diet rich in animal products and saturated fat, to make himself a popular book, telling people what they want to hear. That disturbed me greatly, to see a cardiologist doing that, giving people a diet that he knows is going to kill people as a cardiologist. You can't lower your cholesterol in a diet like that. I want to know that when people read my book, Eat to Live, that if that one person reading my book who has heart disease, or whose father died of heart attack at age 45, which happens every day. I had a person 3 houses down from me who just died of a heart attack at age 38 with 2 little daughters at home. Happens every day. So you know that 76% of on-the-job deaths for firemen are caused by heart attacks, not accidents or fires. Most firemen die of heart attacks. Most Americans die of heart attacks. So as you can see by this slide, a low-fat vegetarian diet, like one advocated by some of the famous, well-known vegetarian authors, dropped cholesterol about 16%. But they did not have a favorable effect on the LDL-HDL ratio. And it also raised, in many cases, raised triglycerides. It was not, those people still lose weight, lower their cholesterol, and protect their health when they move from a vegetarian diet to the Eat to Live program, because they're cutting out more of the high-calorie, low-nutrient foods like white potato, white rice, pasta, and bread. Those starch-based or potato-based programs, when you have a diet based on potatoes and rice, those were great to feed large populations because they're cheap foods. But we're not talking about here. But if you want to know what's ideal, if you really want to know what's the most favorable diet to afford yourselves the opportunity in human history to live longer than ever before, it's not basing your diet on potatoes or rice. It's basing your diet instead on an assortment of vegetables, and using the lower carbohydrate vegetables and putting them into the unlimited category. So those are the foods you eat more volume of than the higher carbohydrate vegetables. The high olive oil Mediterranean diet does not show a significant lowering of cholesterol. The Mediterranean diet, which includes olive oil, lots of red sauces, more fruits and vegetables than Americans eat, has been shown to lower heart attack rate by about 30% over the heart attack rate that's in America. But with 1.5 million people dying of heart attack every year, with a person dying of a heart attack every 30 seconds, do you want a lower heart attack rate? 30%? Do you want to take your risk and bring it just down by 1/3? Not me. I don't want to be running for a bus, skiing down a mountain slope, out there sprinting for a tennis ball, and be nervous I'm going to have a heart attack or if something happened to me. I want to know with 100% certainty. I want to drop that heart attack rate 100%. I want nobody to have a heart attack. We don't just make us... You follow what I'm saying? The Mediterranean diet is not a favorable diet, and don't fool yourself. The people in the Mediterranean countries today are eating the same diet we are in America. Sure, 30 years ago in Crete, or 50 years ago, they ate better than we did. And they also, maybe worked behind a plow 8 hours a day doing heavy labor. Now they work in office buildings on computers and eat donuts and junk food and bagels just like you guys. I wanted to spend a little time just demonstrating that the same diet that's linked to heart disease and cancer also causes all the other illnesses too that brings you into the hospital or to see doctors. Headaches, migraines, hemorrhoids, stomach pain, reflux esophagitis, asthma, allergies. In other words, when you overeat And when you eat a diet low in nutrients, your immune system is weak. And you have yourself ready to pick up every disease that walks around the corner. Kidney stones, gallstones, fibroids, appendicitis is linked to high animal product intake. Kidney failure. These things just don't, we see thousands of people suffering and dying every year. We have a medical health care crisis in this country, and our economy, to a large extent, is suffering greatly because of the health care crisis due to people eating themselves to death with their knives and forks. They're digging their graves with their knives and forks in this country. We have to have some radical change. You know that the percent of, the average amount of money being spent on our healthcare dollar in America is going up by such a high rate that's going to bankrupt most of the major corporations in America. And the small companies can't afford to pay for healthcare anymore. And you're told by the government and by authorities to take lots of extra calcium each day, right? So if you're a woman, take 1,500 milligrams of pills of calcium every day. Well, of course you have to. Because when you eat a diet so rich in animal products and so rich in salt and so rich in caffeine, and you're going to lose that calcium. Let's imagine you took in 1,000 milligrams of calcium via your diet or through pills today. You don't absorb all of that. About 2/3 of it goes into your stool. Only about 1/3 of it gets absorbed into your bloodstream. So you took in 1,000, about 300 milligrams goes into your blood. Now, in this 24-hour period, you urinate out 350 milligrams of calcium. Wow, you urinated out more than you took in. That's called a negative balance. You lost 50 for the day. If you lose a little bit each day, that calcium has to come from somewhere. And where do you think it came from? The storehouse of calcium in your body, the bones. Osteoporosis is inevitable. On the other hand, countries around the world who don't have osteoporosis consume much less calcium than we do in America. The countries with the highest calcium intake have the highest hip fracture rate. So let's say you ingest just 500 milligrams today. Well, you absorb a higher percent. You absorb about 200. 2/5 is a bigger fraction than because 2/5 is equal to 4/10, right? And 4/10 is bigger than 3/10, so you absorb a bigger fraction. And if you excreted only 100 in the urine, then you'd be in a positive balance for 100. Worldwide osteoporosis is not correlated with how much calcium you take in. It correlates impeccably well with the calcium excretion in the urine. And the calcium excretion in the urine is caused by a high intake of salt and animal protein, caffeine, and sugar. Also, vitamin A supplements. When you take multivitamins with vitamin A in it, you lose a lot of extra calcium in the urine. And the vitamin A also increases your risk of heart attack and cancer. It's best to get our carotenoids and vitamins, the carotenoids in the vitamin A family, directly from the natural foods like fruits and vegetables. Not to be thinking that everybody in America eats a vegetable-less diet and try to take extra beta-carotene, which will then lower your blood level of lutein or lycopene. Let me say that again. If you're taking vitamin A or even high-dose beta-carotene from a vitamin pill, that will compete with absorption of lutein and lycopene and other carotenoids and lower your blood levels. It won't make for that diverse assortment of nutrients that you need from natural foods. Calcium is rich in natural foods, and green vegetables, you guys are loaded with calcium. But you're not just getting calcium, you're getting all the other factors that are so essential for your bones and for your overall health. So milk doesn't have anywhere near the calcium intake as vegetables. How do you think the cow got the calcium to get into the milk anyway? Right? They didn't feed the cow milk to get the calcium. They fed it greens. As animal product intake goes up in a country, we see so does the hip fracture rate. And as it goes down, hip fracture, osteoporosis melts away. Protein per calorie is highest, by the way, in peas and lentils and tofu and broccoli and leafy green vegetables. Those foods are high protein foods. They have more protein per calorie than a cheeseburger and meatloaf. You're already on a diet rich in protein when you're eating your vegetables. But when you're eating your vegetables, you can't overeat because your stomach only holds a liter of food. How much vegetables do you think you could fit in there before it burst open? The thing is that you can eat, you don't have to worry about how much food you eat when you eat correct foods. You can eat as much food as you like. You don't have to measure the food and weigh it. Throw in all the healthy foods in there. Eat as much as you can of those foods. One reason Americans are so obese is because they're eating fake food. Food that doesn't grow on a tree. Foods you can't eat if you were shipwrecked on Gilligan's Island. You don't see a bottle of olive oil and a plastic bag of Wonder Bread growing on a tree on Gilligan's Island, do you? See, that's how you know Skipper didn't really live on the island. The calorie ratios of common foods so that beans and fruits and green and vegetables have around 200 calories per pound on the average. You can't fit that many calories into your stomach when you're putting in beans, fruits, and green vegetables. They're the foods that are highest in nutrients, yet at the same time, they're exceptionally low in calories. The trick, the secret of this plan is to eat lots of these foods, the beans, the fruits, and the green vegetables, more than the starchy vegetables and whole grains. To eat more greens and beans and fresh fruit to form the majority of what you eat. That's the secret to extending your lifespan and achieving your ideal weight. Thank you very much.